During this time of international crisis, I find myself reflecting upon another major catastrophic global crisis of the past, namely the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center. This international attack on American soil led to the first and only use of Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO. After the 9th of December 2001, the world came together to mourn and to fight. Unfortunately, when the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a pandemic, effectively making it into a global crisis, the response has not been as unifying as 9/11. It seems like cooperation between countries has grinded to a halt, with borders closing and international travel made extremely difficult. These, of course, are necessary precautions, but these closed-minded measurements have also affected politicians to govern international affairs properly. Allies have also been at each other's throats, accusing one another of lack of empathy and unity. Looking at North Atlantic relations during the COVID-19 pandemic, this disunity is clearly on display. For example, the US has been accused of modern-day piracy by Germany when it supposedly redirected surgical masks that were meant for Berlin. And looking inwards at our own finance minister, Wopke Hoekstra, became more or less a bottom villain overnight when he declared sovereign states as greedy. Funnily enough, there's actually already an organization, international organization, should I say, that supposedly should give us advice and bring us together during the pandemic. I'm of course talking about the World Health Organization. The WHO is definitely a strong concept, but the real world has a different tale. There's enough evidence to show that they have fumbled the pandemic in the early days in China. This, of course, caused Trump to withdraw from the WHO, effectively making it a less international organization. But I'm not here to condemn the WHO, but to look for other avenues. And this avenue where NATO comes in. NATO, as a military organization, already has a well-developed command structure across its members. It has 30 country members across the Western world, meaning the dialogue between North Atlantic can be quick and reactive. Instead of relying on WHO and other international organizations, we should rely on military organizations to cope with pandemic outbreaks. Another important aspect of NATO is that it has an ironclad meaning of an organization. Currently, the US president has made it clear that the US can easily step out any international organization or agreement, but fortunately, NATO has bipartisan support in the US and often in Europe too, making it the perfect underlying organization across the North Atlantic to unify the US and Europe and other countries, of course. But why NATO? Why a military organization? Should we not rely on doctors to combat COVID-19 pandemic? Well, let me quote 4 words spoken by the French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron. We are at war. These words greatly emphasize my point of putting the military in charge. Doctors may have expertise in nursing you back to health, but the military does not only have doctors, but has expertise in management structures, logistics, building softwares, etc. A pandemic does not only require medical attention, it has a lot of other aspects, and the military is a very diverse organization with a lot of these aspects. And lastly, let me say that the pandemic is a security issue, and NATO is supposed to deal with security threats. While the threat may not be a plane full of terrorists, the outcome is still the same. People die. And I believe if NATO took a more central role in fighting COVID-19, the North Atlantic countries would have a better unified response to epidemics. Finally, I'd like to add that the previous president, Barack Obama, combated Ebola when he sent US troops to Africa. This effectively caused an epidemic not to be a pandemic.